When it comes to shipping, I have a saying. You have already made the sale. The only thing you can do now is mess it up. There is no easier way to end up with damaged items, returns, and even negative feedback than rushing the shipping process. While I don't want to spend all day out here shipping items, I do want to make sure that the items are going to go to the correct destination in the correct condition. And in today's video, I'm going to show you my shipping station, the process I use to make sure items are going to arrive in a safe condition. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share 3 tools that I use that have increased the speed of my shipping processes. Now, before we go and take a look at my shipping station, I want to break down the simple rules I have for shipping items. Number 1, don't skimp, always overpack. I've already made the sale at this point. I want to guarantee that that item is going to arrive in a safe condition to the correct buyer. At this point in the process is not the time to be worried about saving a little bit of extra money by not using enough shipping supplies, enough bubble wrap, enough packing paper, the correct box, the correct padded envelope, whatever it is that I'm trying to convince myself to save a few dollars on. This is not the time to do it. The only time that I should have been thinking about how much it was going to cost to ship this item is when I was purchasing the item. I should have already factored in the cost to ship this item correctly to the buyer. When I buy items, especially items that are breakable or especially items that are very large and are going to take a lot of shipping supplies, I factor that into my buying cost. I know how much boxes cost, I know how much my bubble wrap costs, and I know how much it's going to cost to ship the item. All of that has already been factored into my purchase price and the price that I sold the item at. Now is the time for me to pack the item correctly and make sure that the item gets to the buyer in the correct condition. Number 2, be professional. I like to call this the Etsy effect. If you've ever ordered something from Etsy or a local small company, you'll realize that when you get the packaging that they took good care to package the item in a way to make you feel like there was better value in the item. So whether this means adding packing paper or correct stickers or even the tape that they use or a handwritten thank you note, all of these things go a long way in providing an additional value to the customer once they receive the item. Me personally, I have thank you stickers that I stick on the outside of my packaging. I use eBay tape to brand the packaging so that the customer knows it's coming from eBay. And I include a thank you note inside of my packaging. All of this has led me to getting some great feedback and some great reviews saying how great or how nice my shipping was. Number 3, feedback. So yes, going through all these steps and making sure that the item arrives safely and correctly will increase the likelihood of receiving positive feedback. However, I go a step further. I have a simple thank you note that I throw inside every package, and all it does is thank the customer for supporting my local business, and I provide a promo code on the thank you note so that it encourages the customer to come back and buy more items from me at a discounted rate. It also asks for feedback. I come right out and ask the buyer to leave me positive feedback because it helps me and my store. And I say when I receive positive feedback, I will leave you positive feedback as well. I have this set up automatically on eBay, so whenever someone leaves me positive feedback, it automatically leaves them positive feedback. And I actually just say this right in the thank you note. Now on to my shipping station. As you can tell, it is essentially just a wooden workbench that I made. But it provides great value because it has an upper shelf and a lower shelf. I keep all my boxes and bigger items on the bottom, and I keep any extra stuff that I don't need all the time up high. I also have rolls up here that I use to keep my stickers and fragile stickers and things like that. And I have a little shelf over here where I keep all of my tape guns. Everything inside here has a place and it's all labeled so that everything is easy to find. There are 5 steps that I've implemented in this process that have helped me speed up my shipping process. Number 1 is buy good shipping supplies. So you can save on shipping supplies. You can go dumpster diving, you can ask around, you can dig stuff out of your neighbor's trash can, you can reuse boxes that you get, and I've done all of that. And I continue to do all of that. In fact, I have a pile over here of large and unusual size boxes that I don't use frequently enough to actually go buy, but I like to have a few on hand in case I need them. I don't want to buy them, so I end up just with a few of them that I keep over there. For me, it's not worth the time anymore to go dumpster diving and go find these free boxes. Now I'm at a point where my time is better spent listing more items and finding more items to sell than trying to save a few dollars on shipping supplies. I typically make 1 or 2 big shipping orders a year, kind of depending on how much supplies I go through and what kind of items I'm picking up. I typically order from Uline or Grainger, just depending on who's cheaper at the time. Grainger is pretty nice because there's one right down the street from my house, and I'm able to actually just go pick it up right there in the store, and it saves me a lot on shipping. However, Uline also runs sales throughout the year where they offer free shipping, and I've had big trucks show up and drop off huge rolls of bubble wrap and pallets of boxes that I break down and use throughout the year. Another huge impact is that I like to have all of my standard boxes. So down here below my bench, I have all the standard sizes that I use every day. These are the sizes that I know I use. I've made notes of what sizes I use, and anytime I start finding myself to need another size box, I take a note of it, I start making tally marks and see how many times I use it, and then I order based upon how often I'm using that box. I like to have these standard sizes down here because it speeds up the process. I know exactly when I measure an item and that it's going to fit in a 6x6x6 box that I have one right here. I can grab it and I can have it the first try. Now, when I used to go through the pile method and like go collect things out of a dumpster or go ask stores for boxes, I'd have a pile and I'd have to dig through it and try to find a box that would kind of fit it. This added extra time. This little step of having the boxes ready to go and labeled and knowing exactly what size they are and where they are on my shelf has sped up my processes because I grab the correct box on the first try and it's going to fit my item. Now, if you're just starting out, I don't think you need to run out and go buy a bunch of boxes. I would probably just start using boxes you have around the house, ask your neighbors, and maybe go to a couple stores and dig through a couple dumpsters. Get a good little pile going, but as your store continues to grow, you have to reinvest in it, and one of the times I like to reinvest in it is by saving time. So for me, it's not worth the time for me going and digging around and asking for boxes when instead I can be going and digging around and looking for more inventory to flip. Number 2, I perform everything in steps. So when I come out to ship, the first thing I do is I pull up the app on my phone and I start going through the list. I grab an IKEA bag and I walk through my shelves and I pick the items using the SKUs. So I'm looking for the item, I throw it in the IKEA bag and I keep shopping. I call it shopping for my sales. So I go through and I find all the items that I'm going to be packing and shipping for the day, and then I bring it over to my workbench and I set it down. I grab another IKEA bag and I set it next to that one. What I like to do next is break it down and ship the items in the same condition. So like big items that are going to go in boxes go first. So I take all the items that are going to go in boxes and I ship all those first so that they end up at the bottom of the IKEA bag that's going to go to the post office. Next, I move on to padded envelopes and padded bags. So anything that's going to need a little bit of padding but not maybe a box, I'm going to ship all of those together, and I'm just going to pull out a stack of the padded envelopes, set them up here. I'm just going to start shipping all of those out right in a row. And then I finally finish up with poly bags. Typically poly bags I use for shoes and clothing and maybe some other less fragile items. I'm gonna pull down, I keep my poly bags up high. I'm gonna pull down the box of poly bags and I'm gonna start putting all the items into the poly bags and shipping those out. And those will go on the top of the bag that goes to the post office because those are the lightest items that go right on the top. I like to do it in steps because it speeds up the process versus 1 minute I'm trying to fit something into a box and break down a box, and then the next minute I'm reaching up high to go grab poly bags, and then I'm reaching down low to grab padded envelopes. I like to do it all in one go. Number 3, I don't move around. So right here is where I stand and I try my best to not move around. I have my bubble wrap right here above me. I have a trash can right here below me. My computer is on its own stand right above the trash can. My label printer is right there. And then I have a big open workspace over here where I pack everything. All my boxes are right below me so I can grab them and pull them out, except for a few larger ones that are off in the corner. And then, like I said, my poly bags are up high and my padded envelopes are down low, and I don't ever have to move. I stand right here and I reach and grab my bubble wrap. I stand right here and reach and grab my box, and I reach up high and grab my poly bag. The key here is less movement equals faster shipping times. The less I have to move, the less I have to go walk over here to go grab a box and then walk over here to go grab bubble wrap and then try to dig out the padded envelopes. The less time that I spend digging and searching and going and looking for these items or turning around and going back to grab something because I forgot that I had to ship this as well, it all saves time. Number 4, full concentration. Like I said in the beginning, once you've sold the item, the only thing left to do is mess up the sale. So when I'm out here, I want full concentration. So I'm going and I'm shipping and I'm not listening to music. I'm not listening to podcasts. I'm not out here playing on my phone. There is no interruptions. When I'm shipping, I'm fully concentrating on shipping the items. I do 200% verified. So when I'm walking and I'm pulling my items, I'm looking through my phone, looking at the SKU, and I'm grabbing that item, I'm putting it in the bag, and then I bring it over here. When I go to print that shipping label, I'm checking that SKU once more to make sure that I grab the right item for the right shipping label. I want to guarantee that I'm putting the right label on the right item, because if I ship the wrong item to the wrong customer, this does me no good. I have to start issuing refunds. I start getting negative feedback. I want to guarantee that I'm paying attention to what is going on. Now, if my mind starts to wander, or if I'm starting to wonder if I'm doing something correctly, I have found that talking to myself helps. So I'll just talk through what I'm actually doing. When I'm going and printing the label or looking at the SKU, I'll say this is SKU 103, and I'll look at the bag and I'll say this is bag 103. This is going to Pennsylvania. This shipping label says Pennsylvania. Whatever it takes, if I have to stand here and talk to myself to concentrate on what I'm doing, it helps guarantee that I'm shipping the correct item to the correct customer. Number 5, organization. So I've already talked about how I organize everything to be within arm's reach, but everything has a place and everything is labeled. So all my boxes down below that are my common sizes have a label on them, so I know exactly which box is in which slot. This also helps if my wife or a family member needs to come ship for me. They don't have to go digging around and looking for things. It also saves me time, because I know at the end when I'm done shipping that my tape gun goes up here, my scissors get hung here. Whatever the item is, it has a spot and it's labeled so that it ends up going back to the same spot. This way, I don't end up saying, oh, where did I leave that tape gun? Is it over here? Is it over there? Did I leave it underneath on the boxes? No, there's a spot clearly marked for it, and it's convenient. It's where I would have put it anyway, but I guarantee that that spot is left empty. I don't put other things in that spot so that I know exactly where everything is. This helps speed up the process, because if you're out looking for the thing that you're trying to find, or you're out here saying, where are the extra labels, or I ran out of boxes, or whatever, I know exactly when I'm running low on boxes, because I can look down here and say, oh, the 6x6 slot has only 2 boxes left in it. I better order more, or I better go to my storage unit and grab a few more. Whatever it is, I know my inventory levels and I know exactly where they should be. Before I get into the 3 tools that helped me save a bunch of time on shipping, I want to cover the basics. If you are taking eBay serious and you're starting to sell a bunch of items, I highly recommend that you invest in a shipping scale, a label printer, and good shipping supplies. A shipping scale and a shipping label printer are almost 2 things that you need, especially the scale. If you're going to get accurate weights and ship items out correctly, you need to be weighing them. A shipping scale doesn't cost that much, and honestly, I find them out at the thrift store fairly frequently. So you can pick them up super cheap. It allows you to weigh your items and print labels that are correct to the item that you're shipping out, and guarantee that you're not ending up with a bunch of shipping undercharge fees later on throughout the process. The shipping label helps save time. When I first started on eBay, I did what everyone else does. I printed on a regular printer. I printed out the sheet. I used scissors. I cut it out and I taped the label on. If you're starting to ship a bunch of items, a label printer is one of the first things I recommend that you buy. I don't subscribe to the fancy brands that you need. Those ones work the same way as the one that I have here. This is just an Amazon brand, and I've had it since I started. So almost 4 years now, and it has never caused me any issues. It prints great labels, it's super cheap, and it saves a bunch of time. I print it out, I pull the backing off of it, and I slap it on the package, and off it goes. Shipping supplies is the final thing. If you're going to start shipping out a bunch of items, you're going to need to buy some basic shipping supplies. You can go around and find boxes and stuff, but it's pretty hard to find poly bags and padded envelopes. So I recommend starting with that. You can go to your dollar store, or you can go to Walmart or Staples, or you can even order them on Amazon. I've included my link in the description that has a link to the shipping supplies that I use. I order my bags off of Amazon. I've tried a few different kinds of bags, and I like these ones because they don't rip. Some of the bags are made super cheap, and saving a few pennies isn't worth the bag ripping and the item falling out and the customer not receiving the item. So the bags that I recommend are listed in the description below. The first item that has greatly increased my shipping speed is a pair of shears. These are simply a pair of scissors, only they're heavy duty and they help cut through cardboard. So whether I'm breaking down a box or trying to shave a few ounces off of a box to ship it out, these shears save me a lot of time and a lot of extra work. You can use a razor blade and you can use regular scissors, but if you're looking to upgrade and save a little bit of time, the shears help cut through the cardboard quicker than any other thing that I have found. Number 2, a box resizer. This is just a tool that is used to score the side of a box so that you can fold it over on itself and make it smaller. So if you're using a bunch of boxes that you found rather than ordering the sizes that you actually use, you might have to resize the box, or you're gonna have to add a bunch of extra padding, which not only increases the weight, but it also increases the size, which increases the shipping cost of the item. So a box resizer allows you to make the box smaller, therefore saving you not only on shipping supplies, but also saving you on shipping cost. You can do the same thing with a razor blade by going by and scoring the sides. However, this tool actually has this little thing here that hooks on the top of the box, and then this scores the sides of the box so that you get even scoring across the whole box and it doesn't become this lopsided mess. This with the pair of shears is perfect because you can score the sides, use the pair of shears to cut down to the scoring, and then the box folds right in on itself and you just saved yourself a bunch of time and hassle rather than pulling out a razor blade trying to score it and trying to fold it over on itself. Number 3, a measurement mat. This is a mat that is used for arts and crafts. However, I have found that it saves me a bunch of time. If you're shipping out packages, you need to take accurate measurements. I used to do this with a tape measure, and to be honest, most of the time I just know the sizes of my boxes now. But every once in a while I need to measure something, and it is much easier to just drop the box or the padded bag onto the measurement mat and grab the measurement, then pull out a tape measure or a ruler and measure all the sides. I can drop it on here and then I flip it once and I can get all 3 measurements that I need right from the mat. This has greatly sped up my process and it allows me to not have to pull out the ruler or the tape measure as often and take measurements this way. I can just drop those packages on there, grab the measurements, and keep it moving. All of these items, along with everything else I use for reselling, are linked in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you're gonna love this one. So go ahead and give it a click.